Hi, it's Matt from Kangoo Autos. So here we have a rather special electric vehicle. It's a Kangoo ZE van. It's a maxi van, so it's a long wheelbase van. But this one is also a hydrogen range extender. So it's like the ultimate range extender, properly zero emission. So let's just explain what it is. It's a standard ZE22 kilowatt hour Renault Zoe. 22 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack underneath. This one is also an owned battery, so it doesn't have a battery lease like other vans, and we can see that on the back. It is a ZEI. I means it's battery owned, and it's H2 hydrogen. So in the back here we have the hydrogen tank. This is a long wheelbase, so you still get quite a bit of space there in the back. And then up front, mounted down here behind the bumper, is the hydrogen fuel cell. So looking at the top, you can't see much difference at all, apart from a few extra wiring harnesses and a takeoff of the coolant bottle. But the hydrogen fuel cell sits down here at the front. And what that does is that obviously produces electricity from the hydrogen, and it charges the battery while you drive, and it effectively more than doubles the range. So obviously you would charge this every night and primarily run on electricity, or run on the battery should I say, because it's always going to run on electricity. So the 22 kilowatt hour battery, that will give you roughly 80 miles range, 90 miles in the summer if you're driving economically. And then the hydrogen tank, that takes 5 minutes to fill and will give you an additional 110 miles of range. So in total you're looking at around a 200 mile range vehicle. But obviously if you live near or work near a hydrogen filling station, you can keep filling it up with hydrogen, and the fuel cell will drive the motor and charge the battery. The nice thing with these as well is obviously in the winter, if you're going to let the fuel cell charge a battery, you don't see any loss of range from the heating system, because obviously these use quite a lot of energy to produce heat when you use your heater in the winter, and you can let the fuel cell take up that difference. And if you're stationary in traffic, obviously that electric motor is not using any energy, so that fuel cell can also then charge the battery. So obviously there's not many of these vehicles around. They're doing more in Europe now. So this one, there was a fleet of them made for a Scottish company, and they were purchased with EU grant money. I don't know exactly what they cost new. I've read various different articles, and the price ranges from sort of 39,000 all the way up to about £76,000 each. So I don't know what they really cost, but obviously it's a standard Kangoo ZE Maxi, and then the fuel cell and hydrogen tank version has been done afterwards, and that's obviously the expensive bit. So this vehicle, effectively it's still like new. It's only done 3,000 miles. It's in fantastic condition, so you're getting an awful lot of vehicle for the money. So the primary purpose of this video is to describe the condition. I'm very honest about the condition of the vehicles. I don't hide anything. I point out every little stone chip, mark or scratch I can find, and that gives people the confidence to buy the vehicles without coming to view it first, and then I deliver it to you. And 9 out of 10 vehicles go without a viewing because of these detailed videos. So very little to show you on this, because it is just in fantastic condition. It's only done 3,000 miles, as I said, and everything is also on the photo gallery, I should say, on the website, and you can look at more detailed pictures. But everything I'm going to show you is very minor, and it primarily is just scratching on the wheel trims. These Kangoo wheel trims do stick out rather proud, and they have a habit of catching the curbs when you park. So every wheel trim has got sort of minor scratching on it, but really is insignificant. There's not a single mark on the bodywork. There's just one tiny little dent on the other side I need to show you, but the mirror caps are scratch free. It's all just in pristine condition. There's some scratching on that wheel trim. I have dabbed a little bit of silver paint on the worst bits. However, I don't have the right colour silver, but it looks better than what it did. I must get some very pale silver to match those. So behind there is your hydrogen filler, which I'll show you in a minute. Looking around the back, the bumpers are just in really nice condition, as it all is. this little bit of the lighting for the number plate, this plastic is starting to fade a little bit from the sun, but actually all Kangoos do that. And then while we're at the back, I'll show you in the cargo area. It hasn't been ply lined, so it's all as it comes from the factory, and it's just in amazing condition. It's hardly been used, this vehicle, and as you can see, it's all still got the original hardpod on the side, and none of it is even scratched. So the tank sits in that box. It is sort of a double bunded tank, so it is protected, but you know, if this was my vehicle, I would probably ply line the floor and maybe build a shelf over that, so it's got a flat top, and then you can use the height and it will protect that as well, and it allows you to then use the height and therefore make full use of the van. And then continuing round, really nothing to show you apart from, again, actually that wheel trim is fine. There's just one little, well, there's a couple of little bits of paint missing there on the door edge where it's been open against something. I'll put a bit of white paint on that. But here somewhere is a tiny little dent, but really small, and actually I can't even see it. Maybe that's it. Let's just go a bit of an angle. I don't know whether you can see that. It's somewhere there. At certain lights you can see it better than others, but you know, I'm even struggling. I think that's it, but I'm not 100% sure. It's really, really minor. Let's just get a bit of an angle there, but yeah, hardly worth even pointing out. And then that wheel trim, a couple of little scuffs on it, as you can see down there. And that's about it. You know, I'm being incredibly picky showing these things. Oh, the other thing is the blue peel on the blue plastic effect on the badge is peeling off. All Renault, Kangoo and Zoes in fact do that. They've got a plastic film on it which turns it into a blue effect, and blue means it's electric, but it always flakes off as it ages. But if you leave it long enough, it will all come off and just return back to the original chrome badge. And then looking on the inside, it's just immaculate. The seats, obviously only doing this many miles, have absolutely no wear on them, no scratches on the door cards or dash. I've put new carpet mats in, but yeah, it's just pristine inside. And then round on the driver's side, it's all in amazing condition. The only thing, if I'm really going to be picky again, is there's a bit of scratching around the ignition switch, as there always is in Kangoos. For some reason people can never put the key in straight, and this plastic does scratch very easily, so there's a few minor scratchings on the plastic there where people haven't put the key in properly. And then here's the mileage, 3,440 miles. So what we've got in this one is it's got MP3, single slot CD and radio, with also Bluetooth. We've got some audio controls down here. I've never seen one of those before. We've got audio controls down the back of the steering wheel. This doesn't have air conditioning. It's not standard fit in the Kangoos. However, this one looks like it's got a passenger airbag, should I say, which isn't standard fit. That's an option. And then up here we've got the screen for the hydrogen system. Even the radio here still has the protective film across the screen. You know, inside this cab it really does feel like a brand new van still. And I would just say everything works as it should do. There's absolutely no fault with everything, including the hydrogen system. I've had the company that made this dial in and check it all, and we can see there it's obviously got the green light. Everything's working as it should do. So to open the hydrogen filler cap, we've got to have the vehicle powered on, and we push that button there, and I can hear that clunk at the back. And I'll just go round and show you. And then that allows the door to then release, and it's a 350 bar standard hydrogen fill up. And then at the front is obviously the standard Kangoo charging port. This is a Type 2 AC charging only. It's a 3.6 kilowatt charger. Takes about 4 to 5 hours to fully charge it, so you typically charge overnight when the van's not being used, or obviously you can do top-ups throughout the day. And then in the back here is the standard Type 2 charging cable, and I can't get it out, there we go. We've got AC male to female, so this is what you would use to connect to a wall charging unit, either at home or your workplace, and you would keep it in the vehicle so you can use public fast charging posts, typically 7 kilowatt AC post, to charge. And I can also supply a portable charger. That's a cable that allows you to charge the van on a standard main socket. Those are often called granny cables, and what I do is a free loan of those. So you buy the cable with the vehicle, and then when you get your wall charger installed, typically that takes 2 to 3 weeks, you may no longer want to keep that cable, so you return it back to me and I'll give you 100% refund, hence why then it's a free loan. But many people often end up keeping the cable because it's very handy, because you can charge anywhere where there's a main socket, which in reality is every single building. So this vehicle does have 2 original keys. We've also got here all of the original Renault manuals. I also have all the manuals for the hydrogen system as well in PDFs, which I'll share with you, as well as the contact details of the company that did the conversion if you ever need any support. I would just say up here we've got an antenna on the windscreen, and they can remotely access the whole system, look at all the sensors and all of that sort of stuff as well. And then here we've got the V5, so it's only had 1 keeper from new, no previous keepers, and the registration date was the 31st of the 3rd 2016, and the MOT certificate is until 30th of the 5th 2020, so obviously that's coming up fairly soon, so I will put a new 12 months MOT on it. So obviously, to use the hydrogen range extender function in this vehicle, you want to be within a reasonable distance of a hydrogen filling station. There aren't too many currently in the UK, but the network is expanding. But you can find the locations online. If you just Google hydrogen filling station, you'll soon see the website that shows all the current locations. So if you're in London, obviously this being a zero emission vehicle, it's exempt from the ULEZ and congestion zone charges. And if you're a small business under 50 employees, a sole trader or a charity, and you're scrapping a diesel van, then you could qualify for the Transport for London scrappage scheme, where you'll actually get £9,500 towards the cost of your electric van and insurance. So obviously with this one it will pay for a huge chunk towards the van, or indeed some of the other vans I've got, it will buy the van and the VAT content outright. So a huge benefit if you either live in London or frequently drive into the low emission zone. So this Kangoo is ready to go, so if you're interested, then give me a call or email. Let me know your postcode and I'll work out a delivery cost, and I can deliver this anywhere in the country, and it will come to you on a flatbed and it will be fully charged and ready to use.